Is there significance to the fact that many Rebbeim used canes? We see that many Rebbeim had canes. Is there an inyan in it? And if so, why didn't we see it by the Rebbe?
There's no question there was an inyan of having a cane. They wore taka cane with a silver handle. The Rebbe told a story in the days after Yud Shvat that the Rebbe Rashab purchased for the previous Rebbe when he was 17 a cane with a silver handle, I think when he was 17. And he told his Rebbetzin, the Rebbetzin Shtene Sara, ich hab like the letzte Geld. I gave away the last money I had to purchase it. So the Rebbetzin Shtene Sara said to her husband, why did you have to spend the money on a luxury item? It was necessary. So the Rebbe Rashab said to the Rebbetzin, ich hab sich erst jetzt der wusst wer is. I only now realized who he, the previous Rebbe, is. So there's no question that the inyan from a cane is an inyan. There's also a story where the Yid brought the Rebbe a cane, a stick, from the Baal Shem Tov. And this Yid asked that the Rebbe, as a maton, as a schar for bringing him the cane, he had inherited it from his ancestors, and his mother had given it to him, and she told him that this has to be brought to tzaddikim. Imagine a stick for the Baal Shem Tov. And he asked the Rebbe that the Rebbe should say Kaddish for his mother, one Kaddish, and that day by Mincha, after they brought the Rebbe the cane, the Rebbe actually said Kaddish for his mother. Why the Rebbe didn't use a cane, I don't have the slightest idea. A stick case this. Why the previous Rebbe did use a stick. I mean, the Rebbe Bachlal was not a very effective, he didn't play the role of Rebbe very, very well. You know, the old story that somebody asked the Rebbe if he's going to the meeting of the Asifas HaAdmoirim. There was a union called the Rebbe Union, Admoirim. So they asked the Rebbe if he's going to participate in the Asifas HaAdmoirim, and the Rebbe said, Ich bin nicht kein member. He wasn't a member of Asifas HaAdmoirim. I'm just going to give you an interesting thought of Chasidus. There are Maimonides Chasidus that explain the concept of a prosthetic, an artificial foot, or kabayim. Yeah, I guess that means a prosthetic, which is brought also in halacha and mishnah, and halacha lagabe kabbalas tumah, and lagabe other things. And there actually are explanations in Chasidus for the significance of a cane. And of course, the point is that a regel, a foot, represents the lowest part of the body. And in spiritual terms, the lowest part of the body is ragleo yardis. It goes to a lower world. But even the foot, which is the lowest part of the body, which goes to the lower world, is organic, is living. And a cane or a prosthetic represents something which is not only the lowest part of the body, it doesn't have life. Which means spiritually, the extension of the life of a person to such a low level where it's virtually not living. In other words, if a leg represents the idea of descending from a higher world to a lower world, a prosthetic, an artificial foot, would represent coming to an even lower level. So from one perspective, that idea represents the basis for Klippa, because we know that Klippa lives from the diminished chayis of Kedusha. But on the other hand, it represents finding a way to bring Kedusha even to the lowest levels, even though there is on the outside very little life, but there's an enormous amount of life in it in a concealed way. And we know by the Rabbi and by the Tzaddikim that B'chlal by Tzaddikim, Momenim Chalav Aleim Yesem Egufam, any chayfetz, any item which the Rebbe held and used. The Rebbe used to, there's a sikh of the Rebbe, Tafshin Memvav, Nissen, that the physical possessions of the Rebbe are kelim of Atzilas. They're kelim of Telakus. And there's no question that the fact that the Rebbe used a cane has great significance. And as far as the Rebbe, again, my answer is the same as I told you before. I have no idea.